Working for you. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Roy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for You is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for You.
A pleasant good day to all. Welcome to another edition of Working for You, a program that looks at the inner workings of the government and relevant corporation and authorities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I am Kyloni Johnson. I will be your host for today's show. Today we are joined by three individuals from the Solid Waste Management Corporation. We have with us Mr. Keith Phillip, he's a general manager. We have Anita Lake, the operations manager, and we have collections officer Taisha Henry. And they will be speaking with us today about a variety of things being undertaken by the SWMC, all related to keeping St. Kitts clean and beautiful, not only for us in St. Kitts and Nevis, but also for our visitors who come to our shows regularly. Welcome, guys, to Working for You.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kyloni. It certainly is our pleasure to be here, and we hope that our tete-a-tete this afternoon will be most welcome by the listening public.
I think it will be. So let's get right into it. This year, in September of this year, the Solid Waste Management Corporation introduced an event, and I think it was a very well received event. It's the National Cleanup Campaign. First question is, what sparked such an idea from the corporation?
As you very well know, Kyloni, our mandate is to essentially, if we were to use a one-liner, is to keep our country clean. This involves the collection and disposal of waste. Now, we realize that while we continue to collect the municipal or the household waste, we are having the challenge where metallic type wastes, items we call white good, which includes refrigerators, stoves, etc., those are not being brought to the landfill. We found out that persons were dumping these types of wastes through cane ranges, over the guts, sometimes down by the sea. And so we embarked upon that particular program in order to help alleviate the amount of that type of waste that was being dumped indiscriminately throughout the island.
Okay, and where was this inaugural event? Where was it targeted? What were the target areas for this inaugural event?
We really targeted the entire country. Weekly, we would divide our team into two, and we have here with us the two team leaders, Miss Lake, collections manager, and Taisha, collections officer. And they would, after the first week, I left them alone, so they were fully responsible for ensuring that this project not only got off the ground but was successful. And so weekly we would divide our team into two, and one would go one place, one would go the other place. And so we did it like that until we, in 5 weeks, went through the entire island. And then another 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we did it again. So essentially, we went through the island twice.
Okay, so I guess since of the ladies were the ones who were the driving force behind it, I'll ask them this: how was this initiative received from members of the public?
Well, the public was really excited. They worked along with us. They came together as a team, and they really put out their effort to make sure that the community was clean. And one of the things that really inspired us was to see the community spirit that, we saw in the community where persons actually came together to make sure that their neighbors home place was cleaned up.
And so I'm guessing from the response you guys received, this will not be a 1 year.
Oh no, it will not. Definitely not.
Great. And of course, well, Keith, you mentioned some of the waste that people would put up. Now, the national cleanup campaign was a way to ensure that some of these waste, they're not thrown to the side of the road and improperly discarded.
Yes.
How big of a problem is the illegal dumping situation in St. Kitts?
Man, it is huge.
Wow.
Huge. It is one of the most serious problems that we have in terms of our waste collection. And just for example, yesterday we were told just off the FT Williams Drive, as you're going towards towards the west, as you pass the U Lounge. What was the U Lounge? On the left, where there was the railroad tracks,
Yes.
we found persons were dumping in between there, and so the illegal dumping is really a major problem.
But in terms of that, what are you guys doing besides the campaign, of course, that just wrapped up? What can be done to help curb some of this illegal dumping?
Well, I think the most important thing is to educate people on how to manage their garbage. And we go out and we try to educate people in how to put out the garbage in the proper way and what not to put out and what not to throw in the cane field. And even if we could assist in helping people to get rid of the garbage, we do assist. We also have litter wardens who goes around. They're for the whole country. We have 3 litter wardens, and they go around. We have 5 now. We have 5 litter wardens presently, and they go around the country. They look at the areas, and if they find that someone is throwing garbage, maybe at the railway in the cane fields, they find out who is doing it. Maybe if you could talk to the person, maybe we summons them, give them a time,
Just about to ask.
give them a removal order, and which gives them a time to clean up, and then after that we summons them if they do not clean up,
So
which
they
is
are-
$500.
So
at
there
the
are
court.
penalties.
There are penalties.
So have you guys ever caught someone in the act of dumping
Yes.
illegally?
Yes.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, just yesterday, the officer, one of the little officer, actually caught someone taking the construction waste into an area, empty spots, and they were able to give him a ticket there and then. So he was actually caught.
And I think you mentioned the fine. Could you
The
repeat?
fine is $500,
Okay.
which they have 7 days to pay at the courthouse, but if they do not pay, the fee can also go up to $20,000.
Wow. So,
Yes. So
wow.
if
So
you
it
want
costs to illegally dump your
yes,
garbage.
it do cost.
Nice. But you mentioned a strong point about awareness.
Yes.
Can you just brief us some of this stuff that you guys, the initiative you guys do to help keep the public up to date as to the things they can do? It's not even, especially the small things they can do to help keep our country clean.
Well, maybe I could mention a project that I've already started with the schools. We're trying to get the children educated about separating the garbage. So we distribute bins to 6 schools, 2 bins so that they could separate the plastic bottles from the normal. And then we have Admiral goes in and he collect the garbage. We want people to realize that we cannot mix plastic bottles with the normal garbage. It takes a while. So that we want everybody, we find out that when you teach the children about garbage and about a lot of different things, they go home and they teach the parents. And that is another way for us to educate the people out there. I think that is one of the better way also.
Yes, God, they would take that lesson home with them.
And then sometimes the parents doesn't even know. Sometimes they teach the children, just teach the parents.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to another topic. I understand the Solid Waste Management Corporation you guys are planning to introduce a new model starting next year, if I'm not mistaken. Can you shed a little light on this first?
Yeah, okay. That model, Kailoni, is what we would want to call the new collection model. Right now, our collection model involves us going, well, probably it's a two-part. In the first instance, it involves us going to households, and by us I mean the collectors from the Solid Waste Management Corporation, collectors from Scandis, because we have three contractors now, Scandis, Admiral, and D&D. And so their mandate is to go to the houses in certain areas and collect the waste. The second option we have is that of the bins, where we put bins out, and the bins have been placed in various areas. Personally, I am not a lover of the bins, because it is in my short experience that wherever bins are placed, persons indiscriminately comes and they throw anything. So the bins are placed for communities to come and put their household waste. But we find people throwing TVs, dead dogs, stool. And so we find a lot of different things are being placed in the bins. They'll throw broken glass, light bulbs, needles. So these are the different things that persons put in the bins. And then when our workers go to empty the bins, they run the risk of being hurt, injured, or anything. So the new collection model is intended by and large to clean that up. And so hopefully by January we'll be in a position so that we can go now to door-to-door collection. Now the door-to-door collection, it is our intent to do that twice per week in especially the built-up areas. And we are now doing that, simulating it in Bird Rock and in Mattingly and the camps area, where the vans will go twice per week. In fact, prior to coming here, I was at the bank and one lady said to me that she just cannot get accustomed to it, because the place is being kept so clean, that, and the trucks are always on time to collect the waste. So the new collection model is intended to ensure that the collection vehicles go to households at least twice per week. In addition to that, we want to ensure that we want to put out signs, notices. For example, if you live in the Bird Rock area, there would be a sign saying collection day, let's say Tuesday, between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So the intent really is to educate the householders as to when their garbage will be collected. It's because we do not want persons to bring their garbage out, like, say, for example, in the night, and leave it so that dogs or vagrants kick them over and then dirty the place. So we want to be able to give persons a set time, and say, listen, bring your waste out between this time and that time, and we will be collecting your waste between that period of time. So the new collection model speaks to that, and speaks to bringing integrity then into our collection process. Good.
So sounds really good. You mentioned earlier about the educational aspect of the waste, proper waste disposal, separating plastics from other materials. The Ministry of Tourism, they promote an event yearly. I think it's in July. Free plastic or no plastic initiative. What's the department's take on such an initiative, and is this something that you guys have gotten behind or would like to get behind to further promote?
This year was the first year we've been hearing about that. We was excited, we got on board, and we went out to the schools when they were going out and trying to educate. It was something for me, because I suppose these guys have been out there every year, and this was my first year going out and experience it, and we've been out there with them. We went out to schools and we tried to educate the children about what is a PET bottle. Some kids, PET bottle is like a water bottle.
Well, I need education on what is a PET bottle.
It's like a water bottle, a normal water bottle, a plastic bottle.
Petrol, something.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was something that we have got on board with, and we are out there.
Okay, good.
In addition to that, we invited the organizers of the Plastic Free July initiative. We invited them on our regular weekly program at Win FM, and so they came on and they were able to share and spread their message.
Okay. So let's move on to another important issue. I think a troubling issue for you guys at the department: derelict vehicles being left all over the country. Of course, it's unsightly. What is being done from your end to encourage persons to remove their derelict vehicles?
Okay, presently we have an amnesty going on where we are allowing persons to bring their derelict vehicle into the landfill with no cost up until the 31st of December. And then after which, what could I say, notices will be issued. We are hoping that, person will take advantage of this program that we are setting out. The derelict vehicle is really a problem for the country. Every community on the island,
Yes.
everywhere you turn, be it urban or rural, there is the derelict vehicle, and that is just a home for rodents. It's a home for mosquitoes. It's a home for illegal hideaway weapons and things like that. People do all manner of evil in those derelict vehicles, and so we are we're trying to do our best to combat this epidemic, put it that way.
And so there's nothing in place that can compel me. I'm the owner of a derelict vehicle. There's nothing in place that can compel me to remove my derelict vehicle?
Yes. No, you can.
Okay, yes, there's an act and there's law which demand persons to remove the abandoned vehicles off the street, wherever they have them hid. As a matter of fact, a lot of them hid in grasses and so on. And there's a law, but until we really come down hard and then they will know that the law really...
We have also a procedure. It's a derelict vehicle is like garbage also. And we can do it like give them a removal order. The same procedure that we use as garbage is garbage. It's something that you don't need. So then we go through the same procedure as giving them a removal order. And we give you a time, ask you, well, how much time you need? We try to work with you. And then maybe if you do not move it within that time, we give you a summons. And that summons also goes up to $500 and $20,000, as I said before. But it's garbage.
The thing here, Kailoni, is that we're using this period between October, November, December, 3 months, and grace. We said to people, listen, bring your derelicts to the landfill. We have earmarked a site over there, and so we just rest it there. What they do when they come in, we'll take the weight of it, because we have to. Part of our data collection is that we take the weight of everything that comes into the landfill, and so we'll take the weight, and then we have earmarked an area for them to deposit the waste. But the interesting thing is that, though, we are advised by the minister with responsibilities for solid waste that at January 1, a conversation would be held with the police, so they would, in addition to all the wardens, the police would also be on board to start the ticketing process to have persons remove their derelict from the streets, because you'll find that sometimes our garbage trucks are trying to get to an area and there are derelict vehicles parked. We cannot get to the areas to collect the garbage. So it is a big problem.
But you guys, if you guys have this space, why do you think folks just decide to just leave the derelict vehicle, as I mentioned, in Imtilata or something?
Let me give you a joke. October 1st, well, probably late September, we announced that come October 1st, we will be having the amnesty on derelict vehicles. About October 3rd, in the Mattingly area, somebody brought a vehicle and rested there. I'm just showing you the sense of what people are thinking. The same way that they were able to bring the vehicle there, they could have taken it to the landfill. And so I'm just showing you that sometimes persons do things. I don't know. I don't know what possesses some, persons at time, but those are some of the challenges that we have to contend with.
But is it a costly endeavor to bring it to the landfill?
No. Go
Sometimes
ahead.
they don't even pay up to $100.
For a whole vehicle.
For a whole vehicle, yes. So persons complain that the cost to get it there, but that is on you.
That's true.
Because the $500 that you will have to pay in the first instance, it doesn't cost that much to get it there. So.
And one of the reasons I want to believe that persons find it difficult to bring the vehicle to the landfill is that a lot of time people think that, okay, I keep the vehicle because I'm looking parts. But then the vehicle parked for like 20 years. And by the time they're ready for the part already became diminished. So we're saying is that, to help take ownership of the country. It's not just about parts in the vehicle or whatever, but because those things park wherever they are unsightly, they eyesore, they look terrible, And so if you love your country and you love your people, you try to help it, keep it clean. These derelict vehicles really make the country look terrible.
And of course, St. Kitts is a country that depends greatly on tourism products.
Yes,
One of the problems, as you very well know, the scenic railway, I mean, that's big. And if you were to take a ride on the scenic railway, you will see the dirty side of St. Kitts. And this is what we are presenting to persons who are taking that train ride. I mean, the dirty side of St. Kitts. Yeah,
so we have to do better.
We have work to do. We have our work cut out for us.
Good. Just remind folks that you are tuned into Working for You. Our guests are representatives of the Solid Waste Management Corporation, and we are talking about keeping St. Kitts and Nevis clean. Later, we will be opening up the phone lines for you to join the conversation. The numbers to call are 465-2555. That's for local calls, and for international calls, you can call 718-577-2916. Okay, so let's continue the conversation. Let's go back to home. The home disposal. I think more needs to be done to educate the people what can and cannot be put out for collection by the authorities that come around. What can I put out? What shouldn't I put out?
And let Tayasha speak to that.
Well, of course, as Mr. Phillips said, needles. Some people, they would have the needles and they just throw them out. When the loaders come to collect, they have to go to the hospital. We have to look after our workers. We cannot put down broken glass, grass. And some people, we find that some people, a mechanic guy would put pieces of cars in the garbage. That will mash up our truck, of course.
Because the trucks are compactor trucks.
Yes.
And if we do not go in to see, and we do not go in, we advise our persons just to tip it.
Yeah.
And so we do not go in to see. About 3 weeks to a month ago, one of our workers was working, and as the compactor started, a piece of bottle or glass of some sort just spit out from the and cut him in his face. Very easily he could have lost his eye. And so this is what we are trying to say to persons. We collect household waste. We collect the waste that is left over from your meal. We collect the waste, you clean your kitchen and stuff like that. We collect the waste that is left over. We do not collect glasses. We do not collect bottles. There are some persons who have, diabetes. We advise diabetics to get in touch with us so that we can collect your waste. or you tell it to the, separately. So or you tell it to the driver so that he can, you put your packet and then he can collect it and we can dispose of it properly. But to throw the needles in the bins and we do not know what type of illness persons have, and
That's true.
to be stuck accidentally by a needle, we do not know what the result may be. Miss Henry mentioned what we call green waste, which is grass. Persons are not supposed to put their grass in their garbage.
Does this happen often?
Very,
Oh,
very often. That is one of our biggest
As a matter of fact,
problems.
a young man came to the office and said that he had about 5 bags of green waste, to the back, and he recognized that the garbage truck picked up the garbage and leave the other bags. So I said to him, "Well, we don't carry green waste." I show you had sticking out. He said, "Yes, there was sticking out." I said, "That even make it worse."
Yes.
Indeed.
Because these things, once they stick and to the collectors, it can cause a lot of harm to them.
But,
So
let me explain. Sorry.
yes, okay.
Let me explain the problem with the green waste. The problem with the green waste is that if we take it and we commingle it with the other waste at the landfill, the heat that generates from the waste very easily, and one of the gases that escapes from a landfill is methane, and very easily the heat may cause the grass to combust. And when that happens, it's a major fire at the landfill. Could you imagine a small country like St. Kitts if we had a large landfill fire with all the escape gas? And so we are trying to tell the persons is that it's not that we are trying to be hard and fast, but there is a reason why we are saying to you, listen, please, these are certain things you would put in your waste. These are certain things you do not put. Aerosol cans, for example, very easily those two can combust and cause fires. And so we are saying separate these things. You give us separately so that we know how we can dispose of them.
What about those large appliances? What do I do with those? An old TV and old stove?
Well, those you can easily put in the back of your vehicle, bring it to the landfill. You'll have to pay $5, but that compared to $500,
Small price.
very small price to pay.
But on the other hand, sometimes we like to let the people out there assist the loaders them, because we find that when the loaders them go out, that's the guys them that pick up your garbage and put it in the truck. They're having problems with, you have garbage, you come out at the time when the truck comes, and yet you leave the garbage to the back of the yard and you want the guys to come to the back of your yard to collect your garbage.
If something goes missing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that is one of the rules we have. We ask them not to go into someone's yard,
Into
because
person's yard.
you can call later on and say, one of your loaders were in our yard and a bike missing, something missing.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, a gentleman called and said that one of the loaders took up his tarpaulin. So I asked him if he said that the loader that they don't take it. He said he can't identify the person who took his tarpaulin, but he knows it has to be a loader because one of them came into there to pick up his garbage. I said, well, that does not mean it's him who took it. But what we're saying is that things like that, where we're advising persons to bring their garbage outside so that the loaders do not have to come into your yard, and we advise them not to go into your yard to collect. Another thing is that we want to impress upon is persons to bore their bins, put holes in the bottom of the bins, because a number of bins, once they fill with water, it is very difficult for the loaders to lift the bins when it is heavy. So we got to take these things into consideration for is people who lift in these bins, and if you're throwing out garbage, let it just be garbage. People tend to clean the yard, sweep the yard, put dirt and all those things in the bins. You have to be more considerate than that.
Yes, that's an interesting point. And with the boring of the holes in the bottom of the bins, we only collect plastic bins.
Yes.
All right, and I think I would advocate that we collect standard size bins.
Right.
If we are going to do it twice per week, then I will advocate for standard size bins. We do not collect metallic bins, and the reason we do not collect them is that they, as they get old, they tend to cut through the gloves that the guys are wearing. But come back to the holes in the bin. If holes are not dug in the bin, and these bins are kept outside, if it rains, or even whatever is inside the bin secretes fluid. Imagine how it is that someone is lifting the bin and whatever fluid escape from it. And then they say, oh, the solid waste people always smell stink. So we're saying, help us, bore the holes in the bottom of the bins. It makes lifting easier for the guys, and it makes their job that much simpler.
Well, it brings me to my next point. Respect for the loaders.
Exactly.
Do you guys find that's a problem? You guys have
Yes.
where the
Yes.
communities
Very
people
much.
don't
Big
respect.
problem, big problem.
Yes.
Because they see us only as garbage collectors, huh?
We had an incident with some of the guys went to a lady's place, and when he went to help her because he saw that, well, she was an old person. Sometimes they just try to help people who is older, and upon trying to open the gate, she said, don't touch me gate because you smell.
Wow.
You see, so.
Those are the kind of feedback
So these are
Yes.
at times.
Not even to
from
touch the gate.
times
So people
Persons.
need to understand that these
And-
guys
and-
provide a very valuable
very,
Very
very
valuable.
valuable service, because I mean, if for 1 week
One month. That's 1 month. That's 1 month.
that collection isn't picked up. I mean, is the amount of calls start getting, but they're not only calls, but everybody start getting sick.
That's true. That's
So
true. So
it's
there's a health aspect.
it is a
to it.
health,
Could you imagine if we do not collect? Well, let me put it the other way. If the waste is not collected in the island for 2 weeks, and we have, in a short while, we'll be having the largest ship passing through. Could you imagine? I'm just going to leave it out to person's imagination. The fact that we do this is one of the services that we do. I often emphasize the point that we can build 2, 3 new piers, and if the place is dirty, no one is going to come to a dirty place. No cruise ship is going to come. Regardless of how many piers we build.
That's a good point.
And so it's really what we're trying to emphasize is have some respect for the employment choice that persons have. And you would not want anyone to come on your job and disrespect your job. So we are asking persons to help the guys, help them to make their job, that much simpler.
Okay, and of course, I think it started, if I'm not sure, Sugar Masters officially started. And of course, that's one of the busiest time of the year. Carnival, Christmas. We all know for the Christmas season, everyone likes the new stuff. You want your new curtains, you want your new TV. So there lots more garbage built up on the outside.
Yeah.
Are there arrangements to accommodate this influx of garbage, especially around those that holiday time, that Christmas holiday time?
That is, we shudder to think what is going to happen at this time of year, and that is why you find that we one of the reasons though why we did the cleanup ahead is really to help persons to at least lessen the clutter in their homes, so that whatever they're going to be buying for Christmas, it does not add to the clutter. But this is one of the areas that we are really, really, really not looking forward to. The amount of waste in the country is magnified during the December period. But not only that, though, the events that happen on the various shows and the street activities and stuff like that, I'll let Tyasha speak to that, because we, over the years, we have mobilized a team of persons who play their part, and Tyasha would speak to that.
Over the years, we put a group together to do a cleanup after each session at 4th Street or maybe the Queen shows, and we go out maybe 10, 11 o'clock and we start cleaning. We go between crowds, we go in areas, we clean the jeans, so that by the latest 6 o'clock the next day, the whole of town area will be clean.
And believe me, they do a
Yes.
wonderful job. Sometimes we leave Bassi at 3 in the morning, you come back to work at 7, 8 o'clock, the streets are clean. So these guys are really doing a good
These are the unsung heroes of the country that that we do not see, because when we are home, sequestered in our houses, peaceful as ever, we have persons. The Solid Waste Management Corporation has persons out there, working for you.
Thanks for the plug.
All right.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the landfill. You spoke about it briefly. What's the current state of our landfill? You mentioned December is a very bad year for landfill for waste collection. Well, what's the state of our landfill? I know there have been talks that we might be full, we might be getting to capacity. Are we in a good state? Is our landfill in a good state at the moment?
All right. Let me put it this way though. Over at the landfill, we have about very close to 25 hectares. We have right now we are doing what we call open dumping. All right, that is where we just carry the items, dump them, use dirt, cover them, and then compact them down to lessen the breadth of them. A few years ago, we had what is called a sanitary landfill, in that we had it lined with we had it lined so that we can very easily collect whatever leachate is the word. These are the spill off when the waste is compacted and water runs in it. It gives off a kind of toxin, and so we had that. All right, so we moved from that to an open dumping situation. We have already identified another 6 hectares that in the new year we would start the preparation for that to transfer that into a sanitary landfill site. So as it stands, we have area that can probably last us for the next 15-20 years. But if we continue the method of dumping that we are doing now with an open dumping, it would not last that long. It probably would last us 10 years. And so what is important, what is of critical importance for us going forward, is what Tyasha spoke about in a little bit, is that the separation of waste, and we have to be more forward thinking in how we separate our waste and how we recycle. How we recycle our waste. So that has to be front and foremost in any discussions going forward.
Good. And has those discussions been going on at the level of the Solid Waste Management Corporation?
Yes, because as we move into a new collection model, that is the forerunner for whatever else will come after. And so we have gone through significant changes over the past 6 months at the corporation. Previously, you weren't hearing anything about solid waste. All you know is that we have a few old trucks, and these old trucks are going to come up, and the guys will, right, in the next few weeks, if you will, we would be having 3 brand new compacted trucks, 3 brand new 20-yard compacted trucks. All right, and so those will add, as I said earlier, the integrity to our collection, so that we're going to ensure that we are able to collect. Tyasha is spearheading. She's a focal on our waste separation. And one of the other things we have is another officer. He's working, and in January, by February, he should be finalizing a waste characterization. By that, he's going to tell us what all comes into our landfill. With those efforts now, we now would move forward to start the process of separating the waste. All right, so it's a conversation, it's ongoing, but in-house we have already begun the process. As soon as we can definitively put it down, then we will be presenting it to our board and to our minister.
Nice. So you guys are moving in the right direction.
We hope.
Tasha, you mentioned earlier litter wardens. I don't think a lot of us know about litter wardens.
We've been having litter ones for over 15 years.
Yes,
I started working at Solid Waste as a litter warden also. So we've been around, we started with originally 6 litter wardens, and we've been out there trying to make sure that people get educated about not putting stuff anywhere. You can't just put down your garbage anywhere. It's not legal. Sometimes we had to call the police to assist us. The litter warden go out in different areas in the country and make sure that the country is kept clean. If anyone is doing illegal dumping, we go and we investigate. I don't want to go into what we do because we realize that some people catch on how we find out who they be and where they live. And we do find people and then we give them the removal order. But the little ones have been in progress for over 15 years.
Okay, nice. I just wanted to know. The terminology just sounded a bit strange to me, so I personally wasn't aware of litter
In
wardens.
fact, there is a law, actually, an act, the Litter Abatement Act, which has been joined up with the Solid Waste Management Act of 2011.
Yes.
So it is enshrined in the law, and the law gives them the power to operate. I'll go this further and tell you that the police officer, all police officers are litter
Oh,
wardens.
really?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Once you're police, you're a little one.
Yeah. So
I just learned something. So let's go back to the derelict vehicles. We're a small country, but I'm sure you guys, all of you guys have noticed the influx of vehicles coming into St. Kitts. Where are all these vehicles going to go? Where are they going? Or what happens to all of these vehicles at the landfill?
we probably 2 months ago we signed a contract with a company that will in January begin the process of compacting vehicles in order to ship them out. And so that is why we really want persons to bring those vehicles in. So we're going to compact them and then we're going to ship them out, and that should give us some good space at the landfill, and also help us to move away or eradicate, if you will, the rodent problem that as a result of derelict vehicles.
Okay, nice. Just a reminder once again, this is working for you. Callers, those out there listening, you are welcome to join the conversation by calling 465-2555. Or for those living overseas, you can call 718-577-2916 to join the conversation here about how the St. Kitts Solid Waste Management Corporation is helping to keep St. Kitts clean and beautiful. I keep saying Nevis. Do you guys work in conjunction with the officials at Nevis?
Yes, Nevis really has its own solid waste. It's called the Nevis Solid Waste Authority.
Okay.
And while I'm at it, let me shout out the general manager, Mr. Andrew Hendrickson, very good colleague of mine, and we have been doing some work. I visited him about probably a month ago to see as I said just a little while.
We have a call.
The company that we
None of them are head on.
have entered into the contractual arrangement with.
Just not you,
presently
who
working
kill
in
you.
Nevis. I think they have done as much as they can do in Nevis, and so now they will be coming to St. Kitts. And so Andrew was the one who, was very instrumental in organizing that meeting with them.
So we share. You guys share information. You
Yes.
collaborate.
Yes.
Okay, that's great to know. It keeps everything flowing properly.
Yes.
I think think we may have a caller on the line. Good day, caller, and welcome to Working for You.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Is this the last program like this for the year?
No, it's not. It's not the last episode of Working for You, no.
Okay, I was going to wish you all Merry Christmas and so forth.
You still have time, sir. You still have time.
Yeah. But from them, we come early. Anyway, that's a very good thing that the Navy Solid Waste, a very good initiative that they have undertaken. And it's also very good that you all are taking part in it to get rid of derelict vehicles and maybe old metal and so forth. I'm going to believe that over the landfill, you all need people here to work to separate the things and store them and gather them for when you could get them shipped out for recycling and so forth. You have aluminium come there, old galvanized, not them so much, but steel in particular. Now, I'm one who support incineration, but I notice nowadays nobody wants to burn anything. But if you a lot of the garbage that was incinerated, it would prevent the heaping up of the landfill. You look at less to deposit there. You all need an incinerator, and because don't tell me don't happen in the British Virgin Islands that incinerate and so forth. When you got small areas, you got to find ways to efficiently dispose and preserve land, because you can't get land easily unless you're going to take it out the sea, and then it can cost. But I notice you are saying a lot of things that the previous management used to say. So it's as if you're regurgitating what they were saying. And I don't like to hear. Well, personally, I don't have so much regard for the little wardens, you know. Me personally, I believe in not feeling their weight, and you all like to talk too much and say this and say that, and go, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you say so, the other management say a lot of things they're going to do, and none of them was ever done. So you look like you all carrying on the same thing. In the U.S., I'm going to tell you this again. I am one who support a program of we call bulk pickup. You're on the kind of service, and then people would not throw these things all over the place, because you know when the bulk would be picked up, and it ain't got to be every week. It'll be maybe every 2 months, and then all these old things they call white goods, etc., etc. Then now when they come in there, they just put them out, but you are going to get truck for that, and you are going to get more manpower, because they say an old person got fridge and so to throw away. They can't lift them up. But in addition to all of that, you have to recover the cost operation by asking the government to legislate that people, everybody who could afford to pay. Well, let me put it another way. Ask everybody with the exemption to certain people that you all charge a certain amount of money per month. That can go in your coffers. So you hire men and equipment to collect the bulk. I want to see you all introduce that there. And then a lot of these hula below people throwing things in guts, and so I believe it stop. And then you'll get more metal to melt down for the people them to carry where they're going with them. So I want you all look into that. I ain't gonna stop talking about it until I see you all do it, you know. Because I see it done in the US. America got some more land and so, but they still make cleaning the environment. A lot of people say that's wrong and bad thing, because where places where I go, nothing clean, so. And if they catch you putting out anything, not only the little wardens, yeah. For instance, if you're cutting your lawn and you ain't got no goggles, and people from the park and beach services passing, or police officers, etc., those kind of people, they stop you if you ain't got no protection, you know. And if you give them trouble, they'll summon you. So, you see, so I don't know, I believe that the police one failed in the country, because if police supposed to be like the warden, and the passing like they ain't seen nothing. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But lastly, solid waste, I believe you all want to work shift. You all want even a 2-shift program. And when they got carnival, you all need to get people to work on shift, not go work 10 and 12 hours. You all need, I just want to work 2 10-hour shifts. But you want people to work shift. That's what you all need to do. I go St. Thomas Carnival, and by midnight you see people there cleaning. And another time you see them later done cleaning, they work a shift to ease the burden. Even if you take on some temp workers for the period. You all need to look into all them things there. Don't overburden and say the workers them tired. A man only can work for a certain number of hours and for a certain period in full gear. So I want you to think about the things that I've said, and I want to see you all implement them.
All right.
All right?
All right. Thank you very
Have a
much.
great day.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, caller. So the caller addressed a number of issues.
Hello?
Hi, we have another caller. Welcome, good day. You're on Working for You.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. I want to first commend Mr. Philip and his team for the very good work they're doing at Solid Waste in terms of garbage disposal and really keeping the island clean. I think that is good. My home is benefiting from, for example, the pickup twice per week, and I can also see, as one drives around, you see what is happening elsewhere. So thank you very much, and keep up the good work. I think it's going to be a continuing challenge, but that's good. However, sometimes there are some issues that overlooked or not dealt with, whether by accident or design. And I'm going to focus specifically on the Bastia High School, the abandoned Bastia High School, which is just a stone's throw away from Solid Waste headquarters. If one were to drive up, say on East Park Range, for example, and you see the overgrown bush, I would call it, there, and we know what is happening in the buildings and what have you. Now, what is of concern to me is that that whole prime property was considered a health hazard. And several years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, under the former administration, millions of dollars were spent to clean it up. Nevertheless, it was not considered sufficiently clean, and it was abandoned. Solid waste is there. We have environmental groups. We have the regional bodies and whatever. Nobody was called back in to see how to clean up that place. So it's been left there to fester. The property abuts a well-established residential area. So whatever was done has been, you could say, undone. And I think we all know when you leave things abandoned like that, it begins to generate its own debris and contamination and what have you. And my question is this, two questions really. My concern one is that is the government then going to come back in 2 years' time and do some sort of examination and say, oh, it is contaminated. Well, obviously it's contaminated again. So my question for solid waste, what are you doing about that? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you very much, caller. We certainly do appreciate the passion that both callers have displayed. As it relates to the latter caller,
Have a next caller. Take this one.
that
Just 1 second, Kelly. Let's take this next caller before you answer. Welcome, caller. Working for you.
Good afternoon, Kailoni.
Good afternoon, sir.
And good afternoon, Mr. Nairobi. Keith Philip.
how are you doing, sir?
I call here, man. I hear walking, listening.
All right.
And good afternoon, my good friend, Taisha.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Question. One time for all. Let me go here, quick and sharp and done with it. Who's supposed to police people and see that they sweep up the yard and put out the garbage, the trash, so that when the solid waste come, who picks up the trash, they take up the trash and they go with it. Solid waste ain't supposed to come up and see that me sweep up the yard. It never used to be so. It the people them over the clinic, what we call clinic, the wharf in Joe. What happened to them? How come you could come and program every week and then they come in? I was down by Miss Janet Alley down Canal Street there, Monday afternoon. And I see people two-twin behind Miss Janet fence down there in the big drain. And look where the health department is. Big man be going in the big drain there at Tutu. Because they know no sanitary inspector does go down, they go inspect down there. Call them. Call the Ministry of Health and let the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health go and ask them up there
Why they're not going around and making sure people keep their yard clean? That is not solid waste duty. Thank you. Other people want to call in, so let me move out the way quick.
All right, thank you very much, Carla. Now, Keely, you were making a point earlier?
Yes, in relation to the Barcy High School, question relating to the Barcy High School, that is really outside the ambits of the solid waste. Our job function is to collect, dispose of household or municipal waste. That is our mandate. However, our officers have responsibility to ensuring that persons do not litter, and hence we spoke about the derelict vehicles, etc. So that question, though it is a pertinent question, we at the solid waste we would not have the answers for that, and I suspect another area of government might have responsibility and may have the answers for that.
Okay. One of the callers mentioned earlier, incineration.
Yes. Incineration is really an ideal. It is really an ideal, and it is one of the areas that I personally have been working on. I've been doing research to see what can be made available for us, because there are, apart from the waste, there's also the need to properly incinerate needles, hospital waste, etc. And so that really is one of the ongoing things that we are working on at the solid waste. As I mentioned earlier, over the last 6 months, we have been doing a lot of work at the solid waste, and so incrementally we are continuing to do things. We cannot all do all one time, and so, but I do understand the passion that caller has, and in fact, truth be told, that when we were conceiving the idea of what we did just now with the national cleanup, that the first caller was one of those persons who had week after week continually has continued to say to continue to drive home some of the things, and that has given rise to what we did, and for a new effort that we are going to do in the new year, which for now we don't want to speak about, but we will be unfolding that in the new year. So we just want to thank the callers and so for the passion and the love for country that has prompted them to call in and to voice their thoughts.
Good. As you see, the people out there are some out there who actually appreciate the services you guys provide.
Yes.
Another caller, he hinted about, well, I will put it in my own terms, possible collaboration with solid waste and health, the health department, environmental officers and stuff. Is this something that takes place, or do you think it's an area that you guys can look into?
Earlier this week, I placed a call to someone actually last week, I placed a call to someone in the Ministry of Health or Department of Health, Ministry of Health, and that person was off on some follow. I followed up with another call to someone else. So a conversation at my level will be held very shortly. So that is all I can say for now. One of the things that the last caller has advocated for is to invite them to be invite the Ministry of Health to be a part of our regular weekly program. That too is in the works, and consideration has been given to that. So as we continue to move along and we continue to do the things that would keep saying it's clean, we are inviting all players to the table. And Kailoni, truth be told, solid waste has been over the years an afterthought. For example, new buildings are going down, and no one has given thought to the fact that, okay, how will the garbage be collected? New developments have been happening. There are a number of things has been happening. For example, events are being held in the square. When the square is dirty, then persons call us. But the law provides that if an event is going to be held, that person, the holder of the event, if it's going to be held in the square or on beaches, must get in touch with the solid waste and make necessary provision for bins to collect their waste. And so over the years, solid waste has been treated as an afterthought. And we are saying, our senior management team is saying, listen, we need to be part of the conversations. And we want to throw it out to persons. For example, a building is being broken down in Bastia. When it is completed, when all is dismantled, then somebody realizes, oh, okay, what are we going to do with this? And then they say, okay, let's call solid waste. We want to be a part of the conversations. For example, if it has material that are dangerous, we want to know so that we could make the necessary arrangement for those type of material. And so the conversation has started and it will continue, and we want to just encourage various arms of government that at the solid waste management, give us a call. We have been very active with the Bureau of Standard, and so we would continue to work along with like-minded partners to ensure that we keep our country clean.
Okay, quickly, let's go back to the National Cleanup Campaign. You mentioned this was the first year you guys held this event. It ran for 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
From the response, do you guys see this as something that can be done possibly more than once per year? Because it seems like it really was well received and persons really came out and got rid of some of this stuff. What challenge? I see this. The first is, what challenges might there be that would prevent such?
This undertaking, Kailoni, cost us in excess of $200,000.
Wow!
And so, while it is a noble effort, I think we can effectively commit to once per year, and we will be doing other things to collect the bulk wastes. We would have other initiatives to collect the bulk waste, but I think we can collect. We can, we can do say that we can do this at least once per year, and we have already discussed that in house, and so yes.
I have seen instances where there's a large bin placed in a community, and it's by a residence, but I will see other folks throwing large appliances and stuff in it. Well, are those bins placed there outside of the National Cleanup Campaign, of course? Are those bins placed there for that person, or are they placed at the request of a particular individual?
Well, two things. Persons rent bins because we are in the business of renting bin rentals, and so persons would rent bins, and that is why I said, like, for the past 10 weeks when we ran this program, on the weekend, which is our big busy period, we were not in a position to rent any of our bins, and so the loss of income had been tremendous. Right, but persons would rent bins and for their sole purpose. So,
another issue that was raised from the calls was the idea of shift work and also additional workers that can help sort items at the landfill. I may suspect that the caller is looking for some employment, but are these issues that you guys have considered or talked about at any level?
They are germane to our discussion. The shift work, we do that. In fact, Tasha would be in a better position than I would, and Miss Lake to indicate the hours that we work, because some of our persons start working at 4 o'clock in the mornings. Yeah, and then we have a next after that. Though they come in a next shift that goes around
and four.
We
build solid waste workers. Some of our workers work from 4 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so
you don't know that.
Yeah, so we do that, and persons message a chuck out, but it is not the same crew. So these are things that we have been doing. Perhaps we do not do a well enough job in letting people know what we do at the solid waste.
We have the garbage truck people that goes out as early as 3 o'clock in the morning. We also have sweepers that goes out on the street 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, cleaning the streets just before 7 or 8 o'clock. When guys coming out to work, we find that the place is clean. We have people out there around those time from 4 to 4 in the afternoon, sometimes later.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been here talking about what solid waste is doing, plan on doing. What about what we can do?
Nice.
Okay.
So you guys have the chance now to tell the people what they can do. The small things they can do to
Right.
assist.
For instance, when we had the campaign with the putting out the bins, we find that some areas had a lot of elderly people. And most of them had a lot of stuff, but we have guys on the corner sitting down doing basically nothing all day. And sometimes we go out of our way and ask, well, can you please help this person get rid of their stuff because they need the help. And we're asking people that when you're living in an area and you find that there's an elderly person there, you can help the person, maybe go and ask them if they are alright. Sometimes that doesn't concern solid waste, but I think that is something good that they should be doing because we find that happen throughout the areas we were working. And in Kean, I think Kean was one of the best areas I worked. I don't really want, but it was. Because when we was working in Kean, we went on Lovers Lane. Some of the areas I didn't even know in Kean, but I learned Lovers Lane. I like that name. Lovers Lane. And then we went around the area and we saw a bunch of guys sitting down just liming, and then they had a lot of garbage in front of them, and we said, guys, I want to clean up in front of your place. They said, sure man. I said, well, I'm going to come with a bin, but you have to help the lady up the road. And the guys went out, they helped that lady, and they end up going on looking for other people they could help. They did a wonderful job. And we're asking people to assist. Come out and help one another. Even if you want a bin and you realize the money is too much to pay for a bin, go around the neighbor and say, okay, I know I got stuff. I have stuff. Come together and let's pay, and everybody could throw the stuff in the bin.
Another thing that the community can do to help with each other is that we can look out for each other, as Taisha rightly said. But if you see something, say something. If you see a child throwing something in the street, a bottle in the street, you can volunteer and say to that child, come on, take up that bottle. You're dirtying up the place. So, we can, help each other by looking out for each other. You see illegal dumping, say something. A lot of times people would say that, okay, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But at the same time, it's just not you, it's everybody will suffer for that, just that, illegal dumping. So, if you see something, say something and help each other.
But even for the little ones, I heard the man saying that little ones, he don't really know what they're doing, but little ones go around in the areas and they see some garbage there. Sometimes when they ask someone, you know anything about it? Oh, don't ask me nothing. Find out yourself, and we don't know the area, we don't know who living in the area. You can assist and give the information.
I want to pinpoint how, Kailoni, in answer to your question, how good things can turn bad. As you know, the government has embarked upon a roofing program, where where persons have been employed to take the roofing, the old roof off, and to replace them by good ones. That's a good thing, very good thing, very applaud. But where it turns bad is that these contractors would take the felt, all the roofing material, either throw them down by the sea, or throw them across cane ranges. Myself and Miss Lake, we were visiting an area, I think it was last week, and as we drove up, right there by the side of the road, is all the felt that came off of roofs. And so, these are some of the things that we have to contend with. The truth of the matter is that the time that it took to drive up there, if that person had brought it to the landfill, it couldn't cost them $5. And so this is, the indiscriminate dumping is really what is really the most hurtful thing. That there you have persons who are trying their utmost to ensure that good things are happening, but then there are persons who are benefiting from the good things and making it turn bad. And so we just want to encourage persons to help us to keep our country clean. If all of us join together, it's going to make that job that much less difficult.
That's true. Okay. Let's talk a bit about alternate disposal methods. Are any in the works? I think I know of balling. I think that's where they would ball up the garbage. Are any alternative methods being considered to address the situation at the landfill?
The one that I mentioned earlier in terms of the new fill site, the new site, that is really the method. That is really what is being considered right now. And truth be told, even as we just, because with the exception of Tyasha, myself, Miss Lake, we had been at the corporation for less than a year. And so we have to build capacity. And while we thank the guys who were there before, we realized that this job of waste management is very a real difficult one. And so it involves a lot of capacity building. It involves training. Very early in January, these two young ladies will be doing some training. And so we have to become conversant with the new techniques that are available. Yes, we do the collection, but that cannot be an all in all. And so we have to come up with new ways, which we are doing. We continue to brainstorm in order to find what new ways would work for us. From my desk, where we are dumping right now is a done deal. We'll continue to dump there for the next probably about 6 months or so, and so it's essentially a done deal. All right, when we finish, we'll burn it and then we'll call that. But as we move into the new cell area now, it gives us the opportunity to do it correctly. All right, and so that is where we are moving. In addition to that, we have been in discussions with contractors who would want to compact, who would want to recycle, so they want to cut up the PET bottles, the plastic bottles, etc. Cardboard is one of the is a landfill filler. So you find for Christmas that come in all the TV boxes, and so those are bulk items. We are hopeful that in the new year we can finalize a contract with someone who would take these and cut them up and ship them out. So these are the bulky areas. Even your Clorox bottle, all those essentials that you use in your washing. We want to be able to cut those bottles up and ship them out. So that is where we are looking forward towards the future, in ensuring that we minimize or maximize the length of the landfill.
Great, sounds good. I will now give you guys, we've had a wonderful time here talking about keeping our country clean. I will now give you guys a chance to impart some final words to our listening audience. Anything you would like to say to them, get off your chest,
When Mr. Philip was talking just now, the 3 R's came to mind.
Okay.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. We would like people to keep that in mind. Some people wouldn't know, but we are trying, as solid waste, we're trying to put that out there, and we would move forward in teaching people how to use the 3 R's. And we encourage people to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Nice. Miss Lake?
Yes, I want to encourage our people to really take ownership of the country, recognizing that our main industry is tourism, and that once we keep it clean, they will keep coming, which means we'll be able to generate more fund and employment for persons. And I just want to encourage people to walk along with solid waste. We walk along with you. We try to do everything to make you happy. We may not be able to do it, but with you on our side, we can help get it done.
Okay. Kailoni, I just want to say a big thank you to all, without fail, all of the workers, the employees of the Solid Waste Management Corporation. We do a job that very few persons would want to do. And so I want to thank them for their service over the years, to thank them for coming out every day. I don't really like to single out persons, but do you know that we have two female? I'm going to change the topic now. Do you know that we have two female persons who work on the trucks?
Never seen them.
And if you see them work, and so I'd like to say a big up, let me put it this way, or a big thank you to those two female persons.
Samantha Harrigan and Vincia Allen.
Yeah, to those two persons who work on the collection truck. And interestingly, these persons work on the on our trucks in the mornings, and then they go to school at CFBC during the day. And so we want to thank persons for continuing to be out there. Basil, I want to thank Basil, because Basil has been one of those persons who, for 10 weeks, give or take, has been there practically every day, working from very early in the morning to late in the evening, driving that truck to pick up the bins. And so we want to thank him. We want to thank all those persons at the headquarters, or human resource manager, or assistant general manager, or accounting staff and administrative staff, the persons who run the conference room upstairs, because you know that Solid Waste has one of the best small or mini conference room areas. And so we want to give that a plug and thank the two ladies who have responsibility for that. We want to thank all the guys over on the landfill, those guys who work tirelessly every day to ensure that the landfill is kept clean. We want to thank you. We want to thank the security persons who ensure that the laws governing what we do are adhered to, and those who are in enforcement and inspection. We want to thank you also, and we want to thank the guys who work on the trucks. Without you, what we are saying here would not be possible. And so I want to take the opportunity to thank all of the employees at the Solid Waste Management Corporation. I also want to thank Mr. Bridgewater and Mr. McCall, who had been there before us and who had paved the way so that what we have now is a reflection of what they would have done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sankis. I want to thank all the householders for playing their part and for accepting their role as we continue the efforts in keeping our country clean. We want to thank working for you, Kailoni, you and your staff here, for accepting us here this afternoon. We came not knowing what was to be expected, but we thank you, and we want to thank the persons who called in, and they made the program more interesting.
And in that spirit of thankfulness, I would like to thank the three of you, Miss Taisha Henry, Anita Lake, and of course Keith Phillip, General Manager of Solid Waste Management Corporation. I want to thank you guys for the time and of course the information imparted. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this edition of Working For You. Thank you for joining us. Good day.
Working for you. a weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Roy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for you is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for you.